Question tags. What is the purpose of the question tag? We use it when we want to know if something is true and when we want to know if somebody agrees or disagrees with us. It's very easy. The rule says positive, negative, negative, positive. If the statement is positive, the question is negative. If the statement or the sentence is negative, the question is positive. For example, you are tired, aren't you? They went to the zoo on Monday, didn't they? She doesn't play football, does she? Mr. Trump had left before you came, hadn't he? If there is an auxiliary verb or helping verb used in the main statement, we reuse it. Reuse the auxiliary verb in the question tag too. For example, you will join me, won't you? Eve could definitely do so, couldn't she? Pete has already ordered for the two of us, hasn't he? If there are no auxiliaries used in the main statement, we use do, don't, does, doesn't, did, or didn't. For example, Mrs. Reeves teaches biology every Monday, doesn't she? The headmaster told us to stay in our classrooms, didn't he? We don't like to go to Italy this summer, do we? Note that always use the short form of the negative auxiliary verb. Don't use nouns in question tags. Only use pronouns. For example, Mary is polite. It is incorrect to say is not Mary. Don't say is not. Use the short form isn't. Don't use Mary. Don't use the noun. Use she. Use the pronoun. So it's a must to replace the long form using the short form of the negative auxiliary verb, and it's a must to change the noun into a pronoun. Tag question special cases. The adverbs never, rarely, seldom, hardly, barely, and scarcely have a negative sense. Even though they may be in a positive statement, the feeling of the statement is negative. We treat statements with these words like negative statements, so the question tag is normally positive. Positive statements treated as negative sentences. Examples: he never came again. Did he? She can rarely come these days. Can she? You hardly ever came late, did you? I barely know you, do I? You would scarcely expect her to know that, would you? What about imperatives? We use want for invitations, can, can't, will, would for orders. Let me explain that with some examples. Take a seat. Won't you? This is a polite way to invite somebody to do something. What about orders? Can, can't, would, will, all are correct. Help me, can you? This is quite friendly. Help me, can't you? This is used to show some irritation, and of course, it's friendly. You show that you are to some extent irritated. Close the door, would you? This is quite polite. Do it now, will you? This is less polite. But take care. With negative imperatives, only will is correct. Don't forget, will you? So with negative imperatives, will only is correct. Asking for information or help. Notice that we often use the question to ask for information or help starting with a negative statement. This is quite a friendly or polite way of making a request. For example, instead of saying, where is the police station, which is not very polite, or do you know where the police station is, which is slightly more polite, it's better to say, you wouldn't know where the police station is, would you? This is very polite. For example, you don't know of any good jobs, do you? You couldn't help me with my homework, could you? You haven't got $10 to lend me, have you? Some more special cases. I'm right, aren't I? It's incorrect to say, amn't I? No, use aren't I. But for the negative, use am I as usual. You have to go, don't you? I have been answering, haven't I? Use the first auxiliary. Nothing came in the post, did it? Take care, with nothing we use the pronoun it. Let's go, shall we? This is suggestion. Let us begin our meeting, will we? This is polite request, not suggestion. He'd better do it, hadn't he? Apostrophe D is the short form of had. Replace anybody, somebody, anyone, someone, no one, nobody with the pronoun they, and replace anything, something, and nothing with the pronoun it. There is nobody here, are there? This is negative meaning with nobody, so the question tag is positive, and instead of nobody, we used are. Somebody knocked the door, didn't they? Nobody likes here, do they? There isn't anyone in the class, are there? There is something missing, isn't there? Nothing happened, did it? Keep in mind, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts.